Hello everyone, welcome to the Cyberplanet. My name is Karim Chata and I am the host for today. On today's episode, we will be talking about skills that are needed in cybersecurity. It is important for the guys who are trying to get started into cybersecurity to understand that cybersecurity can be very demanding, especially on the skill sets. Well, here are some of the skills that are needed in cybersecurity as a career. I'm going to split them into two categories, the technical skills and the soft skills. So let's start with the technical skills. In this category, the first skill that an individual needs to learn is networking. Networking is a very important element when it comes to cybersecurity. Here, an individual needs to understand how computers communicate. They need to have knowledge of the 3TCP handshake. They need to have an understanding of the OSI model and other elements of networking. The next skill that an individual needs to have on their arsenal is having an understanding of different operating systems. We all know that all operating systems are not the same, so it is important to know how to interact with all these different operating systems, especially from the terminal. On that note, it is also important to understand the different system architecture that all these different operating systems have. The next skill that we need to discuss here is about scripting. Scripting helps us to automate repetitive tasks that we have to do on a daily basis. Putting it into perspective, if you're given around 20 IPs for you to scan, you cannot go and scan each and every IP by itself. You can decide to automate this process in order to make your task easy. Another important skill that is very important to have is programming. Programming depends on the career line that you as an individual is pursuing. For the people who are doing binary exploitation or want to interact with the kernel, then this is going to be a very important skill for them. Another skill that is very important to have in your arsenal revolves around virtualization. Here we are looking at things like how to install and configure virtual machines, but also how to build your own home labs, simply because you can't just go out there and start to hack different websites on the internet. The last skill that you need to have under this category is system administration skills. Under system administration, an individual needs to understand about the different operating system. They need to understand how different operating system works, but also they need to understand how to manage the computer resources. Now we are done looking at the first category of skills which an individual needs to have in their arsenal. Now let's look at the second category, which is the soft skills. The first soft skill that an individual needs to have in their arsenal is the public speaking skill. As a cybersecurity expert, at some point in your career, you will be forced to present your research findings in front of thousands of people, making the public speaking skill a very important skill to have. The next soft skill that is very important to have is the writing skills. This is a very important skill simply because at the end of each engagement, you as a cybersecurity expert are supposed to write a technical report, then present the report to the client. The next important skill to have is the presentation skill. After writing a technical report, the next step is presenting your findings to the client. The last and final important skill that you need to have is the research skill. As a cybersecurity researcher, you need to know how to effectively navigate the internet while looking for information, or else you may end up going into circles or getting false information. These are my final thoughts when it comes to today's topic. Take your time to learn the skills that are mentioned in this podcast and give yourself time to grow in this industry. You're not here to compete with anybody. You are your own competitor. Thank you very much for listening on today's episode and see you on the next one. Cheers.